I'm getting pretty good at that. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Days Off. And lo and behold, we're doing more shit to the Mustang. There's no motor in it. All right, on the last episode, you saw my buddies and I whip the Coyote out of the engine bay, sticking on a tire over there. This episode, we're gonna work on getting the 5.2 back in the car. Can't promise that it's gonna actually happen. Just a whole bunch of wrenching again going on. I plan on hopefully having this kind of mocked up in the engine bay, maybe fit the transmission, we'll see. I'm picking up my headers today. I got them Cerakoted at 69 Garage out in Port Kells, Langley, BC, basically. We're gonna get those back. I'm gonna get a gasket scraper because I don't have one. I have to take these gaskets off, these pipes gaskets. And I also need to mock up or get the studs repositioned on the heads of the 5.2 because we're technically running the wrong headers for the setup. Anyway, I'm gonna stop around in here and we're gonna go out to Port Kells, grab the headers, and check out 69 Garage. See you in a bit. Been daily driving the GC8 the last couple weeks. The Porsche is fine, it's got some suspension clunking and stuff, and I'm getting sick of smashing potholes and stuff through my commute to work. And the 911 is just too nice to put through that shit, so. GC8 it is. All right, we're leaving Langley. We got the headers in tow. They look absolutely sick. You might be able to see that one. If you're looking for Cerakoting, wheel painting, vinyls, some mechanical stuff, you're in the area, give Chris a shout. I'll put his info here. Really awesome dude, really neat little shop, and he's a car guy, and he genuinely loves working on cars. Whee! Wipe off the camera. All right, we're back in the shop. The weather's a little bit nicer outside. So first thing I'm doing is I'm going to swap the exhaust studs to the Coyote Fit header, and then I'm going to use the gasket to make sure that everything's going to line up nice. Possibly could mock up the header on the 5.2. I don't know if it'll clear my situation here. Once we're done that, we're going to move on to bolting the clutch up back there. Clutch, and then oil pan, and then this thing's good to go. Okay, well, good news. Everything lines up. This is the old pipes 1 7/8 inch header gasket. And ports and everything line up. Sorry, there's no difference from the Coyote exhaust ports to the 5.2. So good news there. The headers will mate up. The only question after this is if they'll clear the trans, which I'm pretty sure they will. The footprint is about the same. All right, so we got the one mating surface cleaned up on this side, but this is like super boring crap. So I'm just gonna finish up the other side. I'm also gonna do the intake ports. I'm gonna clean those up, get all the junk out of there, and do some other scrubbing, because this thing is just, you know, look at all the corrosion from the battery. That battery just absolutely yeeted. So I'm gonna do some more cleaning up, and we'll move on to the clutch and the oil pan and all that stuff. So we're just tying up odds and ends all day, just nitpicky fiddly stuff. Yeah, it looks like a friggin' modular Ford warehouse in here. All right, it's time to put on clutch. So we got the McLeod RXT twin disc, for the 5.2. I'm pairing up the flywheel with these OEM Ford flywheel bolts because the ARP ones are way too short. There was a longer option from Mustang 6G, but they would not respond to my email, so we're just gonna send it with these and hopefully they work. We're gonna use red Loctite on them because I don't want them to vibrate loose. These motors are known for vibration. Not gonna take any chances. I'm gonna make sure they're nice and tight. First things first, we're gonna unbox the clutch, get the flywheel on here, get it cleaned up, and we're gonna start torquing these down, and then we'll work on putting the clutch and the pressure plate and the discs with the alignment tool all in place. Ooh yeah. So go grab a computing device, look up some torque spec. What's a 13? Okay, so I've got the flywheel bolts torqued, and now we're going to turn them an extra 30 degrees as it calls for. So, being 180, I guess 30 is, well, I guess there's 90, so 30 is going to be about that much over. This is a Ford manual readout that I'm going off of, so. Remove clutch for additional information, blah, blah, blah. Torque to yield design, not reusable. Remove the 8 bolts flywheel. Stage 1, tighten to 20 Newton meters, 177 inch-pounds. Step 2, tighten an additional 60 degrees. Sorry, not 30. There we go. Okay, 60 degrees. All right, flywheel is torqued. Marked all the bolts. So now we're going to assemble the clutch. So that's flywheel side, down, obviously, bottom. All right, so hit a bit of a snafu. Final step here. So when you put on a pressure plate, well, at least when you do these twin disc clutches, the pressure plate nuts have to be snugged down the same in a star pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you actually have to do them, so the pressure plate, as you snug it up, these fingers recess until they are clear of the outermost part of the pressure plate, and that puts, that puts pressure on the clutch. That's what gives you the friction to drive the transmission. And then when you engage the throwout bearing, it releases the clutch, putting it into neutral. So anyway, you have to engage these evenly to get the pressure plate to mate to the surface evenly, giving you an even friction surface. So trying to snug these up in a star pattern, and then I go to torque, and this is the only socket I have that fits the torque wrench, which honestly, 35 foot-pounds is one of the lowest settings it goes on. I wasn't smart enough to buy a 3/8. I've only got a 1/2 inch. Matt, 1/2 inch didn't work this time. My inch-pounds torque wrench is way too small, and it's just meant for like super tiny bolts, not these kind. So I need to go out tomorrow and get a 3/8 torque wrench because I'm a ding dong and I didn't have the foresight to do that. And the reason I can't use my torque wrench with this socket is because it's not getting there. We're getting most of these. These ones are, not even that one. It's too big of a wall to get into the recesses for these nuts. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to finish the clutch tomorrow, which not a big deal, it's not the end of the world. I just gotta go get the right torque wrench. I should have seen this coming. I should have gotten one before. I actually ended up buying a new torque wrench over the winter because my old one from Harbor Freight, after like 7 or 8 years of service, finally crapped out. It's a good 20 bucks. I've got all my regular sockets and stuff and a regular 15. That's a 14. I have a 15 somewhere. A regular deep wall 15 mil fits just fine. I could give the Ugga-Duggas, but that would be ungood. Right now, we're gonna RTB and snug up the oil pan, so that's out of the way. And then probably the last thing we'll do tonight is we're gonna take the motor mounts off the car. It's just two 15 mil bolts on either side. Then once we get those out, we're gonna throw on these BMR adjustables and we're gonna take one plate off. We're gonna call it good for tonight. Because I'm getting tired and I'd like to go to sleep. So, oil pan, motor mounts, it's enough stuff for today. Tomorrow, we'll finish dressing this up. Maybe we'll swing it in the engine bay. All right, guys, you can see the stock motor mount laying on the floor. The BMR adjustable mounts are in with one plate taken off the top. So we have a little bit more room for the Cobra Jet. Severely out of breath. Whoever installed those motor mount plate bolts from the factory was a f***ing idiot. The entire length of the very far back bolt was coated with blue Loctite. Like, I'm talking the whole thread length. As you can see, I'm pretty well done. So I'm calling it a night, guys. Sorry I wasn't more productive. I really, had high hopes that we would get really far today, but just losing steam. I think I just need some sleep. Need some sleep and maybe some good food and a coffee in the morning, and we'll be back at it. All right. Thanks for swinging by. I'll see you in the morning. Welcome back to the shop. We're back at it. Sunday, it's afternoon now. 12:02. Didn't really do much this morning. Slept in a little bit. I felt really just, my back's been hurting and stuff, so I've been a little bit, I guess I'm just running out of steam and I just need to rest a little bit. Anyway, got the 3/8 torque wrench this morning. It's not the best one of all time, but it's the best one right now because it was available and not $1,000. I just grabbed this Maximum Mastercraft, whatever, from Canadian Tire. It's got a warranty, blah, blah, blah. It'll do a couple jobs. Good enough. And it's digital, so it does the little, it does the beep. What I'm gonna do first is I'm actually gonna back off the pressure plate bolts all the way, and then I'm gonna re-snug. I just wanna double check that, it's nice and level. Let's get to it. Okay, pressure plate is all torqued up. Clearance looks good to the fingers. We have perfect, easy engagement of the alignment tool. And if we look in there, nice direct line to the pilot bushing. So we're golden, guys. We got a clutch. We got a clutch on the motor. Good to go. So what did I say next order of business was? Oh yeah, wiring. We're gonna get that in there. We're gonna get that wiring dealt with. Messing around with it, I'm gonna do it on time lapse because really it's just a whole lot of like prying and snipping and fiddling. And then we'll clear the diapers off in the engine bay there. We're one step closer. All right, well, this has been a bit of a fight. Got all the diaper out of the engine bay, old wiring harness. Ran most of the new wiring harness. Got the cables all tied up and ready to go for the battery. These ground points are all somewhat secured, and then the power cables to the fuse box. And the harness going to the ECU. What else? This is separate. We ran the cable down here, there's a weird bracket under there that I attached, and then we snaked it behind the AC compressor along the front here for power steering. This here is for the alternator, plugs to the alternator and the cable. And then the one that's kind of throwing me for a loop is this harness here with all the O2 sensors and the trans and the starter. It's kind of a weird, it's a weird sort of routing. Like it looks like it should be following this harness, but it actually like turns and goes back. So I gotta look at some diagrams and we'll probably figure that out again once we have the motor in. These provisions for like the mounting and everything are kind of off, so what I'm gonna end up doing is just zip tying into these eyelets, make it easy. Then I don't have to frig with, you know, prying them out or something. Should something, I can just cut them, re-zip tie them. Anyway, the engine bay looks a lot cleaner with all that diaper off. I hated it. You can see a lot more paint. It'll probably melt off once it gets super hot in here, and I'll probably hear and feel a lot more things in the cabin, but I don't care. It's gonna be awesome. I just need to take a few minutes and chill. So I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go eat and stuff. Maybe we'll get back at this in a little bit. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm kind of losing motivation right now, so. Sometimes I think when you're just like dogging ass and tired, you need to step back and take an hour or so and relax. So I think I'm gonna do that, and hopefully I feel a little bit more inclined to struggle with wiring when I get back. But regardless, I'll pick this up and see you guys in a little bit. All right, back in the garage. Took like an hour and just chilled out, got my head straight. I had to remember that I'm doing this because I like doing this and it's not a job. I ordered the fuel pump, and I actually ordered, just because they had it on sale, I ordered a new deck lid because this one's got holes in it from the original badging, so I'm gonna get a replacement deck lid done. And I had a gift card for American Muscle, so that was perfect. I used that, and didn't cost me a dime. So I think I still have 68 bucks left on there, so I might actually buy the hood struts so I don't have to use a prop anymore. That'll be probably like one of the last things I buy. And then I priced out the new rotors from Rock Auto, because I'm just gonna get a set of centric rotors, like OEM replacements. The reason for that is because they have the E-coating on the hat and on the outside of the disc, which is, you know, you don't get rust and stuff on those ones. It's Centric is actually the same as Stop Tech. They're same companies. One's just like an OEM level, and Stop Tech is like the higher end. Yeah, those will be the next order, and then that's kind of it, I think, for parts, except for getting the drive shaft made and exhaust. So we're getting there. Not too much left to kind of sort out. Anyway, I'm gonna finish fiddling with that wire. I'm gonna bust out the zip ties and the clippers, and we're gonna tie everything up, get it all kind of situated. And then we're gonna, I don't know, maybe we'll swing the motor in there and take a look how everything lines up. Okay, still haven't touched the wiring, but I'm doing some other wiring because I had sort of an epiphany to double check all the fuel rails and stuff to make sure that I'm not like screwing myself over out of the solid line fuel rail from the GT, because this is all solid, and on the Shelby it's rubber. So I checked all that, totally different, can't use it. Also, we've got this sensor in here, I think that's fuel pressure sensor in the GT, in the Shelby fuel rail. And then I also remembered that I have to unpin this connector and adapt it to the connection for that, like I've done on the Coyote. This is actually a Ford Racing jumper harness that adapts to the Twin 65 that you have to use for the Cobra Jet. So it's a matter of pulling the safety clip out of the middle, and then I think you can unclip this from the back, and then I have this one here because when I first did the CJ, American Muscle screwed up. They didn't send me this with the kit, so they sent me a second one after I had already ordered and overnighted the one for the Coyote. So I got a spare clip, so I'm going to unpin that, stick it on, and then that's everything up here dealt with. We've got the evap hooked up, so we'll cap that off and everything, and then we're good to go. All right, we're all set. That is a complete connector. All right, time for one of these. Take the edge off. Getting the Sunday blues because I gotta work tomorrow, but we're gonna go at this with a pack of zip ties, some cutters, and we're gonna get all these wires situated. And that's it for today. Okay, so once I got everything tied up, it kind of makes sense now. This route's kind of along the oil pan, which is situated right about here. Sits underneath the AC, because this is obviously up, somewhere up here when it's mounted. So it's quite tight, but this is the ground strap that goes to the block. And then that little provision, where'd it go? There's a hook provision that was tied to this cable, and there's a bracket that comes off the oil pan, which it's on the back corner of the passenger side. And that cable hooks into it, which we'll probably end up just strapping it anyways, because who gives a shit, right? This will be a lot stronger than just these like wobbly clips. I mean, these encase it a little better, but being able to actually like tie it off in 3 separate points properly, I think is a little bit better than having like 2 janky spots. Like this one doesn't even really, I think when they make these harnesses, they kind of leave it to the install to actually like position everything, but I'm gonna zip tie this one here too, and then we know it's tight into the eyelet. This one, just like I said, comes back along the oil pan to the starter There's the two starter wires. And this all down here, as you can see, it's clearly O2 sensor. And then we've got speedometer and reverse sensor. So it's actually super simple wiring. I'm pretty confident it's going to be quite the easy install, and just plug everything in, get everything tied off properly. We'll heat shield what we got to heat shield, and we're good to go. I'm going to clean up a little bit more in here, and then we'll figure out what else we should really do today. And then it's getting close to like dinner, end of the day, like getting ready for work tomorrow. So we'll see what we can kind of get accomplished. Okay, so things have escalated quickly. I've got a second wind. I filmed an outro. I was almost done for the day. I'm gonna try and swing this in the engine bay and see if I can get it on the motor mounts and see where we're at for clearance and stuff. So that'll be the last little hurrah for the weekend, and then it's time to get ready for bed. Get ready to attack the week. Man, I look tired. Chains are on. We're hooked up to the ears at the front of the water pump housing and the, at the front of the block, and the transmission mount there. Just tighten this up, and then should be good to lift. This is the same way we did it with the Coyote, and it worked, so I'm just gonna try it again. Hopefully all goes well. Wish me luck. Well, damn, if that isn't stance life, I don't know what is. We even got the rusty motors to go with the look. I made a big mistake. I have a motor dangling in the air, which I have to now put back on the stand. And I dropped my quick jacks down all the way. When you do that, they bind, and you can't get them back up with the car on it. My jacks don't fit under any part of the car right now. Massive fail. This is gonna be all night rescuing this, so I really don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna call it good here. I'm kinda had enough. Guys, thanks for stopping by the shop. I appreciate it. Please leave a comment, subscribe to my videos, and I'll see you back here next time when hopefully this thing is up a little higher and we're throwing that thing in the engine bay. But I gotta fix this, so I'm gonna let you go. I gotta concentrate. Have a good one, and I'll see you on the road. Bye-bye.